We're live. Welcome back for another episode on the Coffee with Craner show. I'm your host, Lyndon Crane, and today you're watching the 59th episode with Bekim Merdita at Edison Financial. He's the Vice President of Sales and Business Development, and it's a new startup to the Windsor, Essex region, starting downtown Windsor last year, if I'm not mistaken, Bekim.
Yeah, that's right. We essentially got in the office February of 2020. We launched the business March of 2020.
Right smack dab in the middle of the pandemic, Edison Financial launched their company. Bekim, aside from Edison Financial, is also a board member for We Care for Kids, an investor helping start up RDN Holdings Incorporated. And also, he's worked for Rocket Mortgage Companies and Rocket Companies for a while now. And he's heavily involved in the financial technology sector, or some may call it Fintech sector. And I'm really glad to have you on the show today, Bekim.
Thanks for having me on. It's great to be here.
So my favorite question every show, and I think you have a coffee in your hand. Where in Windsor, Essex is your favorite place to get coffee?
So being that our office is downtown, the coffee exchange is just a quick walk for me. So I'm a coffee exchange guy. And it's great to be back in our office so I can make my daily walks over there.
Yes, yes. Now tell me about your office. I mean, I went in and I had a tour and it was beautiful, stunning office, excellent space for all of the employees. When you started, how many employees did you have and how many do you have now?
So when we actually got into the office, February of 2020, we had 8 people with us at that time. If you just look at Edison Financial on its own, we're right around 80 right now, and growing quickly because we're bringing on a batch of new folks every single month. But right around 80 right now, and then we also have our sister company, which shares some office space with us. They're on the second floor. That's Rocket Innovation Studio, and they're right around the 85 mark, and they've added roughly 60 team members over the last 12 months as well. So pretty exponential growth with our team here over the last year in a pandemic for sure.
Definitely. And then tell me, where is Edison Financial located for those that are watching? It's a really unique space.
Yeah, we are at 156 Chatham Street here in downtown Windsor. We're across the Invest Windsor Essex building, and this is the old fish market. Some people may recognize it for that, and others may recognize it as the Loop. Used to be a pretty popular bar in town as well, and it looks nothing like either of those anymore. It's completely transformed. We did hold on to some of the charm. It's a lot of exposed brick, and certainly put our own personal touch on it to brighten it up a bit and make it more of a lively environment for people to come to work every day.
Definitely. Really state-of-the-art facility. Beautiful, beautiful building. Now let's talk about how you really found yourself in financial technology and specifically at Edison Financial, bringing this company to the Windsor Essex region.
Yeah, so I mean, my story is I essentially grew up through Rocket Mortgage family of companies. I started as a mortgage banker with then Quicken Loans. We were called in Detroit, Michigan, where I'm from, and started with the company. Sort of grew up through the company as a leader through various promotions, and then in 2018 we really tried to expand our reach into the mortgage broker channel. So we were really focused on business to consumer. That's always been the strength of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. But we wanted to expand this lending product to mortgage brokers across the United States in a big way. So we got really invested in a company called QLMS, which was a company owned by Rock Holdings as well, and it was one of the early folks in that business, and saw it through an exponential growth period. And just as everything was taking off and really going off like a rocket ship, a previous leader of mine, Chad Weinbaum, who's our chief revenue officer, tapped me on the shoulder, actually asked me to meet him for coffee, oddly enough, which is typically how things start. And he said, I just got back from Vancouver, and I think we want to start a mortgage company in Canada. I know that you live in Windsor. Is that something that you'd want to be a part of? And it was just, the opportunity of a lifetime for me. been a regular to Windsor since 2006 because I met my wife here and moved over here in 2014. So I no longer had to cross the border for work every day. Got to make an impact on the community in which I live. I had seen all of the great things that Rocket Mortgage had done for downtown Detroit in terms of building up a base of employees of in excess of 20,000 team members, and then saw the opportunity that we had in Windsor to hopefully do the same, and we jumped over here and we got started and been working at it ever since.
And you came from where else in Canada or United States coming to Windsor?
So I grew up in a town called Dearborn Heights, Michigan, just about 20 minutes west of Detroit. Was working downtown every day, commuting there in Detroit, and then moved over to Windsor. Was one of the many people who crossed the bridge or tunnel every single day into Detroit for work. Hated the fact that I had to drive through downtown Windsor and leave the place where I lived to go to Detroit, and was watching all this amazing transformation taking place in the city of Detroit, because I sort of started with the company when the move to downtown happened and sort of conglomerated everyone from the suburbs and created this movement downtown that has just created tremendous growth for Detroit. And then seeing the Windsor scene maybe lag in terms of really coming up, I wanted to be a part of that, and that was really the inspiration for me to be a part of Edison.
Yeah, I mean, it was really impressive when we were speaking before this interview of just the growth in 1 year. Pretty amazing, and especially that you decided to plant your roots down in Windsor, and really you can see the raindrop effect of how it's really helping build a community in financial technology and providing jobs, especially during a pandemic when they're so scarce.
Yeah, I remember thinking back to when I had to make the decision about Edison, right? And I sat down with a piece of paper and a pen, and I wrote down 3 words. I wrote down community, I wrote down opportunity, and I wrote down service. I had gotten a mortgage in Canada myself, so this is where that service piece comes from, and really felt like the Canadian space was probably 10 years behind in terms of mortgage technology and just the level of service an individual feels when they go about getting a complex financial product. That's a large sum of money, right? Not many people are going to sign on the dotted line, nowadays with the price of housing, right? You're signing your name next to a debt that's like $300, $500, $800,000, whatever it may be. And I didn't feel like people were getting the level of service they deserved. And then you take into account the community aspect. Talked about that. That was a big deal. Downtown is important to me. I've always loved it here. Again, I grew up in the States, married a Canadian, and could have lived on either side of the border. I chose to be here. I love it. And then opportunity. I continue to see what I saw in Detroit, which is people would graduate from the university, the college, they get out of high school, and they would move, right? They would move to Alberta for work. They would move to Toronto or Vancouver, Waterloo, you name it, plane, train, and automobile, and they would skip town to go find the opportunity that they were desiring. So I saw that. I put those 3 pieces together, and no more, right? I'm like, this is the opportunity. This is where we need to be. This is how we service this community. This is how we grow through jobs. And that's favorite part so far is, the 80 smiling faces that I've gotten to hire since being here. Imagine if we've hired 80, we've interviewed plenty more. So really being able to, to look people in the face and provide them with an opportunity that may not have been in this town prior to Edison.
Yes, and I've heard all about the great employees that are at Edison. What could you tell me about what you're really proud of, looking back a year of being open to the public, over a year? What are you really proud of that's happened to Edison so far?
So much. First of all, just growing in a pandemic is tough, right? we launched our business essentially March 1st of 2012. We had our little group in the office. Everyone's excited. Had no idea what was really coming, and then the world shut down. And really, March 12th, we sent everybody home and went to work from home. We scrambled, trying to make sure that everyone had the technology that they needed so that we wouldn't miss a beat. Right? We invested for our team members and monitors and world-class headsets and those things so that they can continue to operate. So really proud of just how fast we were able to transition. Really fast really fast growth that took place through it all was really just a testament to how hard our team had to work to get through this. So, I mean, really just our team members, when it comes to, metrics and numeric accomplishments and stuff like that, we've certainly had that, but none of it would have happened without the hard work of our team members. I like to say that, we're a startup without startup risk. Like we have, rocket companies behind us, and it's a tremendous, lever for us to be able to pull. And, a lot of people are really, they've taken a risk by joining us, but they feel really protected by the brand. And I think that's really helped us stay focused. It's allowed people to take a chance on Edison, and we've rewarded them by growing them and having them grow with us, and we're all winning as a result.
That's fantastic. Could you talk about, I mean, one thing that caught my attention specifically with your leadership and then also with the company Edison is just the experience that you offer with mortgages. It's not your typical mortgage shopping experience. Can you walk me through what is it like? How are you different than a regular mortgage broker?
That's a great question. There's certainly a lot of mortgage brokers that do a fantastic job and really mirror a lot of what we do through service and technology. And there are some good things, that have come about. Many of them have actually come about in the last year. So I like to say that, these are technologies that existed in many ways. There was pushback from some of the old industry to start embracing some of these things like e-sign technology, right? The pandemic actually, hit the gas on that, because then it was like, okay, well, we're not bringing people into branches and whatnot. We need to start accepting e-signs. Magically overnight, everyone who said, oh, we don't accept e-signs, well, guess what? They all started accepting e-signs, right? So that's a big piece of it. The real big difference that people feel when they do a mortgage with us is honestly that service piece. People are often amazed by, they'll go online, they'll fill out the application form to get everything started, and they get a call basically instantly after filling it out. Traditionally, people have had to wait days on end to get a call back, if they even get a call back. Then they essentially have to beg for an appointment in many cases to try to get into some local branch somewhere. And they don't feel like they're being taken as serious as they should when they're dealing with such a large part of their financial picture. A home is so important to people, and it's a timid time, it's a scary time. And often people just want to feel comfortable in that moment. And I think that we do a really, really great job with our service levels and making sure that people feel really comfortable. They know what they're signing up for. They feel, though they're getting a digital experience, which may be scary to some, in the way they're filling out their information, quickly upon speaking with one of our agents, they feel really, really good. They feel at home. You feel like you're across a kitchen table or sitting in an office with somebody. And we really try to create that across the table business platform, except we're doing it over the phone and over a computer. And as more people begin to embrace doing financial services in that form, our business is just going to continue to grow.
Have you seen that growth? Have more people been really switching to online instead of having to go into, like, let's say a mortgage broker and sit down with an advisor? Is that model changing?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is one of those weird things about the pandemic is we had all these ideas of like how we're going to convince people that it's okay to do a mortgage over the phone, or it's okay to do a mortgage on your computer, right? And then suddenly we had no choice. So our business was essentially designed for this.
Hmm.
And and then the pandemic happened, and we were ready to go overnight. Like, it certainly wasn't easy, but what it did allow us to do was sort of embrace our model and say, we no longer need to spread the word about this is the way we can do business. People are accepting of it. It's the only way to do business. And what we've quickly found is that people, once they do it once, they're like, I don't want to go back to the old way, right? I don't want to have to
Hmm.
take a half a day or a day off of work to go do some banking. They want fast, efficient processing. They want someone that they could trust to hold their hand through this transaction. And we've been able to do that really effectively over the phone and online. And people are embracing it, and we're growing from it.
Perfect time to start up, right? In the pandemic, and really elevated your business. One other thing I was really interested in, and checking out the website, and coming in, and meeting some employees and yourself. You talked about some different types of culture that's at Edison. You had a book of isms. Tell me about that. I thought it was really interesting. It's probably I would imagine a motto or some type of guiding book that your employees use.
Yeah, that's a great question. So, very near and dear to my heart. I like to say that the isms are sort of a way of putting on paper what a lot of us already know, what good people try to abide by. They're sayings, right? They're principles, they're core beliefs, you may call them. Some of the good ones that I love, and we have 20 of them. And I love them all, but I love a few especially. Do the right thing is one of them. Every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses. The inches we need are everywhere around us is another. We use them really to guide our decision making, to guide our daily actions. And what I love about them is, they're so ingrained in our culture. And that was a really good thing about being a part of Rocket Companies, bringing a few folks that had worked for the mothership in Detroit, bringing them over here and bringing that culture. And quickly, people get in here and they, like, right away, it's like they pick up the book, they read it, and they're like, yes, like, this is it, right? Like, this is what, a lot of other people talk about. I'm not sure that they live it, though. And there are certainly a lot of great companies out there with great cultures, but I just don't know that anyone's, put pen to paper the same way and developed these core beliefs over, the last 20-ish years, like we have. And they're just a great guide to how we go about all of our decision making, and they really do, strategically guide every single direction that we decide to go down.
That's fantastic. I mean, company culture is huge, and especially another component is employee experience and how they're being treated. Is Edison doing anything most companies might not be to really keep their employees satisfied, eager to work, motivated?
I mean, I certainly think everyone's trying. It hasn't been easy. We talk about,
Hmm.
oh, maybe the pandemic has, fast forwarded digital technology, a new way of doing things, but it certainly has been hard to pivot and make sure that we're keeping people happy through it all, because it's
Hmm.
been challenging, right? People being home all day, every day, through this, it's been difficult, and there's a camaraderie that takes place, in the office and in this setting. Team building events went by the wayside, right? Just simply
Yeah.
grabbing a bite to eat after a day of work, or grabbing lunch with one another, or a quick coffee, that was gone, right? So we really had to get creative. We really had to, spend some time. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I spent just Googling fun virtual games, right? We started doing game nights to our team. The in the old times, we would, put gift bags on everyone's desk and have them come in for the day, or, you know, do Halloween trick or treat deals. We found creative ways to, mail stuff to people's homes, and to do things in a virtual setting. And, not perfect, but I will say that we did the best we could. We continually polled our team members, throughout it all, and got really, really positive feedback. We asked people to contribute as well, because, as leaders, you don't have all the answers. And I think, one thing that we did well was, if you have, 50 and then 70 and then 80 people, you have 80 ideas, right? You don't need, the 6, 7 people with titles to come up with everything. You have 80 people who can pitch in, and you start really, putting together the ideas from the group. And as a result, you come up with great things that you can do as a team. And I think we did the best that we could through it. Now that we're returning to the office, it makes it a heck of a lot easier.
Oh yeah, that's so hard, right? To keep your employees engaged in a digital environment you're not seeing face to face, and how do you lift their spirits during time when everyone's stuck at home? So, well, I'm glad definitely that things are opening back up, and I know you have a huge space at your location where you can welcome even more employees, and I imagine you're looking forward to growing. And
very much.
What are some big things that might be coming down the pipeline, things you're looking forward to at Edison Financial? I mean, going to 80 employees in a year is a lot, but it's just a year, and I imagine you're not done yet.
No, far from done. I mean, really what we've been focused on is building the foundation right now of our business. So really there's a lot of components to this, but there's a few, major components. There's sales, there's marketing, there's operations, and there's technology are really the core components that sort of drive everything. I mean, really, we do a lot of things at a world-class level, and we've certainly taken a lot of learnings that we've had over in Detroit. We've brought them over here. We've got great, support through our Pulse team, which is sort of like HR. So everyone contributes, but it's just going to be, it's going to be about more growth. It's going to be about doing more mortgages, right? So a lot of it's, it's shiny and beautiful, but it really starts with the mortgage, right? It starts with people coming to us to help us solution for a very complex time in their lives, a very uncertain time for a lot of people. The housing market has been absolutely insane, and folks are looking for someone they can trust, someone who's going to give them a high level of service, get things done. If we can continue to deliver on that level of speed, on client service, then we will continue to reap the benefits through growth. But it starts with doing a heck of a lot of mortgages, and it starts with doing a lot of mortgages in Windsor, Essex, specifically, because this is truly our backyard. And we're licensed in multiple provinces, but we really rely on this community to come to us in a lot of ways for their mortgages, and with that comes our growth.
Yeah, that's really great to hear, and I'm excited to see and learn about in the news and through you what's next for Edison Financial and all the success that you're going to be having now and into the future. I do want to take a quick moment to talk about the financial technology industry, whether it's at Edison Financial or financial technology in general. Do you have any advice for maybe somebody my age, younger, doesn't matter what age really, but they want to get into the industry that you're in? How do they do that? Any advice you could share with them?
So I do know that in most companies, there's a really stringent level of background that's required to get into it. We really take a good focus on training and development of people. For us specifically, we're so confident in our ability to take great people and turn them into great team members, great executors, to be able to perform in their role. So that really is our secret sauce. When people say, how do you do things differently? What do you do? We invest in our people up front to give them the tools and the training that they need to be able to succeed in their roles. So, for me, I would say find a company that's willing to invest in you, right? And it doesn't have to be, someone who's young, like you mentioned. I mean, there are a lot of folks right now who really took stock through what's happened in the last, 12, 15 months, and rethought the direction that they're going. There are great programs locally that have like sales retraining as an example, or technology retraining. operations, right? Whatever you're thinking could excite you. Take a look at the companies that are willing to invest in you up front. And that's where I would start. Not someone who says, you have to know everything to start here. That's probably a pretty bad place to start. Find someone who's going to grow with you first and foremost. And if you find the folks that are, have that growth mindset, that's really how you get your start in fintech, because that's what fintech is. It's about growth. It's about seeing things before they happen and investing in the future in a lot of ways. And that's really where we see ourselves as, acting in the present on a day-to-day basis, but seeing into the future. And that's how we conduct ourselves. I think that's how everyone should conduct themselves when it comes to their career.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really, really great advice. And yeah, like you said, getting into companies that will invest in you and are willing to stick around with you as you grow, and not going into the approach that you need to know everything in those organizations, because that's not the way it should be. It should be, you might not know everything, but you're going into that industry or that job, and they're teaching you how to do it properly, and then you can grow from there. So, I mean, excellent advice, and I appreciate that. I will definitely focus on that in my future employment going forward, and I think those watching should definitely take that to heart. So Bekim, I appreciate your time. This was awesome. Edison Financial, he's the vice president there, and many great things that are happening. Make sure when things are back open, you give him a visit right on Chatham Street in downtown Windsor.
Thanks for having me, Lyndon. Appreciate it.
Yes. Thanks to those watching. We'll see you soon for episode 60. So we'll catch you soon. Bekim, great speaking with you.
As well.